Hello, hello. Welcome to today's event. I'm Haley, and I'll be your host for today. I'm an investor at Hustle Fund. We're an early stage fund focused on B2B SaaS, digital consumer health, fintech, and Web3. I know we're all super excited to hear today's pitches and feedback from our esteemed panel of judges. But first, we need to cover some quick ground rules. So today's event is a little different in a very exciting way. We have some prizes to give away. The winner of today's event will receive $2,500 in video edits from Chop Shop. If you're looking to create content that converts, Chop Shop can take whatever you give them and create highly engaging content that hooks, compels, and sells. The Chop Shop process, honed over 30 years of tinkering and testing, combines AI efficiency with a talented human touch to deliver scroll-stopping results in a matter of hours instead of weeks. Professional, efficient, and economical. We love that, scrappy founders. They take your content game from chaos to conversion. They say there's no such thing as good, fast, and cheap, but they disagree. So visit chopshop.co to learn more and turn your assets into ad sets today. They're good. You can just tell. We also want to thank you for attending today's live event. So we're giving away a prize to our audience. One of our sponsors is No Story Lost. They turn your parents' life story into a stunning coffee table book with stories, advice, and photos. We know this is top of all of our minds. If you're one of the many sandwich generation members, let's go with No Story Lost. They ask amazing questions and draw out great stories. Today, they're giving away their basic package, which is valued at $1,100 US, to the person who asks the best question or gives the best feedback in the chat. So I hope you're paying attention and staying engaged throughout today's event. And also, yes, there's more. One of you could win a pair of AirPod Pros today. I always lose mine on airplanes, so I have to ask if I'm also included in this giveaway. We'll check the event attendees at the end and announce the winner in Kernal's newsletter on Friday. So stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed, then do so when we flash a quick pop-up in a second here. And now as our visitors roll in, we'll do some quick intros with our panelists. First up, we have Vivek Sodera, founder of Superhuman. Welcome, Vivek. Would love for you to intro yourself.
Thanks for having me. As Haley mentioned, been a founder of Superhuman, a few other companies before that. Now I'm on the dark side as a venture capitalist with my own fund, which is investing in enterprise AI, productivity, and dev tools at the very early stage. So pre-seed, inception stage, first check.
Awesome. And are you now full-time investing, not just on nights and weekends?
That's right. Yeah. So I'm in the process of setting up the fund and fundraising. So I'm smack dab in the middle of that, and now I'm starting to deploy. So I've done 2 investments out of the fund thus far, and yeah, pretty active.
Awesome. Congrats. Excited for you and excited to hear from you for our founders today. Next up, we're lucky to have the founder of Worklife, Brianne Kimmel. Brie, would love your quick background.
Yeah, nice to meet everyone, and thanks for joining. I'm Brianne Kimmel. I'm the founder and managing partner of Worklife Ventures. We were started back in September of 2019, and we invest in things that change how people work and live. Very similar to Vivek, we got started in developer tools, enterprise AI, a lot of bottom-up SaaS, but over the years, we've also extended to consumer fintech and education and a lot of other themes that we think are really critical to change how people work and live.
Awesome. Any themes you're really excited about right now, Brie?
Yeah, good question. I think we're thinking through a redefinition of the creator economy and what that means. There's been a lot of people that are starting their own small businesses. There's a lot of new ways for people to make money on the side. And so I think for us, we're really thinking about how does the average person make ends meet? And what are people thinking about doing that's a bit more creative in addition to maybe their tech job?
Awesome. Excited to see where you land with that new thesis. Thanks for joining us today. Next up, we have Stephen O'Brien coming in from LA, investor and head of platform at Mantis VC. Steve.
Thanks, Haley. Yeah. I started the fund with Alex and Drew of the Chainsmokers. So we specialize in being, taking advantage of the social capital we have globally as they play 150, 200 shows on every continent each year for the past 10 years. And how can we use that to amplify portfolio companies and help them scale over time? We, invest at early stages, pre-seed, seed, across kind of 6 main categories of vertical AI, cybersecurity, enterprise software, gaming, interactive media, and health tech. All of those is kind of working with our, kind of esteemed group of LPs and using the network that we've built to help broker design partnerships become an extension of their sales team and anything else we can do to get our hands dirty.
Love that. And Steve, where are you spending most of your time these days? What are you excited about?
Yeah, definitely vertical AI and sort of the intersection of AI and enterprise software, and especially around gaming and interactive media is an area I specialize in.
Love that. Thank you, Steve. And our fourth panelist is Ryan Holmes, founder of Hootsuite and LOI Venture. Thank you, Ryan, for being here.
Thank you for having me. Happy to share a little. Founded Hootsuite and been busy with that. Like Vivek, I've kind of gone over to the dark side on investing. And now with the accelerator, we've got LOI Accelerator, which is a charitable accelerator focused on 17 to 30-year-old entrepreneurs. And we've had some amazing entrepreneurs come through the program. And then we've got an investment fund where we're investing in them as well.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you for bringing us all together. Excited to hear from you shortly. Before we kick things off.
I have a quick question for Ryan. Are you wearing a bathrobe right now?
No, it's a hoodie.
I'm sure if you just got out of the shower.
I had the same.
It did kind of look like it. I get it.
Yeah.
That'd be cool though. Like that would actually be the best event ever.
Very chill.
Power move. Before we kick things off with our first startup, I want to share a quick breakdown of how the next hour is going to flow. We're going to have 4 different startups, each give their own 4-minute pitch. During the pitch, we would love for you to click the like, connect, and invest buttons that will appear at the bottom of your screen to get in touch with these amazing founders who are trying to raise money for their startups and close out their rounds. You can click into the pitch details to see their deck, metrics, and more info to see if you want to get in touch. After the founder has finished their pitch, I'll bring up our 4 all-star panelists to share their live feedback and questions, kind of like a Shark Tank event. So to recap, if a pitch catches your eye, please tap the buttons below to get connected and express your interest so we can meet with them afterwards. Enough of me. I know we want to get to our first founder. Just quick disclaimer for investors in the crowd. We do want to make sure you're accredited if you're trying to connect with founders. We're here to facilitate intros, not transactions. And of course, as always, what is shared on this event today is not financial advice. So let's get to the pitches. First up, we're excited to welcome LJ from Aesthetic to the stage. I think they've had an incredible month of growth since rolling out just a few weeks ago, building in the giant social media discovery space. And I can't wait for him to share what he's been building with us. In a former life, he was a team MVP, but maybe he'll share more on that in a bit. Not sure. Welcome, LJ. I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. I'm bringing up my screen to share really quick. Give me 1 second.
Take your time. You were a team MVP, correct?
Yeah, once upon a time in a past life. But yeah, let me see. It's not letting me share, but let me bring up. There we go. Sorry about that.
And LJ, when did you officially launch? Was this fairly recent?
Yeah, so we actually just rolled out started rolling out the platform recently. We're pre-launch right now. So we just announced the platform effectively.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It still went viral, I hear.
Yeah, we had a couple posts go viral on social media, which is awesome. And it's kind of generated a lot of motion through that. And now, just trying to capitalize.
Love it. All right. Well, they'll kick me off as soon as you're squared away. But if you need anything from us, just let us know.
Yeah. I am looking for this file, which is not popping up. Let me try and reshare. Sorry about this.
Take your time.
Interesting. Let me leave and come right back. I'm so sorry.
Sounds good. This is the part where I do a fun performance. I actually prepared a 5-minute monologue. Oh, Ryan, I was really excited to deliver my performance, but that's That's cool. What are you most excited about for today?
Well, I just love seeing new ideas, new innovation, and I think that the list looks pretty great. I think just looking at the comments and coming out of it, it's always charges me up seeing what people are working on.
Over 1,000 people here so far to join in and support amazing, innovative ideas and founders. So.
Yeah, I mean, everybody loves watching founders and seeing what they're up to and seeing where the trends are. And so, I do.
Did you like pitching in the early days of Hootsuite?
I loved pitching. Yeah, I did. And it's something that sometimes you're a little bit nervous at in the beginning, but it's all about repetition. And the good news for entrepreneurs is like there's a lot of people you can go meet with and talk and pitch and events like this that get your reps up, and eventually your experience and the story kind of like they unfold and get polished, and you show up with like a better and better presentation and story.
I love that. Well, we're pumped to get to see one of those reps from each of these founders today. I think we're going to move on to Nikki from Parrot Finance while we're waiting for LJ. Nikki, welcome. With Nikki, users can follow and mimic the verified investment strategies of vetted creators and traders. They've had explosive growth. Also launched very recently, just a few weeks ago, from what I understand. But we'll let Nikki dig into all those deets. And full disclosure, we are investors in Parrot Finance. Our GP, she & Co, who was an early NerdWallet employee, was so impressed with Nikki, and we're just grateful to be on their journey. So Nikki, we'll let you take it away.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Haley, and thanks everyone for being here. I'm Nikki, the CEO and co-founder of Parrot Finance. Super excited to be here to talk about what we're building. So on Parrot, we basically are a consumer fintech platform that lets you mimic trades of top investors that have years of trading experience and consistent records of great portfolio returns. And so you may be asking, okay, who are these actual investors? Well, we pull investors from influencers on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and many more other financial social media outlets. FinTalk specifically, which is TikTok's financial influencer community, has over 4.7 billion views on the platform itself. And so Parrot basically pulls in these influencers, vets them, make sure that they're really good traders, have good strategies, and then we sign them on and give them a verified profile where users can pretty much subscribe to them and mimic their trades. So it's kind of like the Patreon model for investing. And I will, continue the next slide, which is actually really interesting. So we don't just have creators on influencers like social media, all that. We have portfolios of over 200 CEOs and politicians. And so this is really interesting because there's been a lot of trends lately, like, wondering like what Nancy Pelosi is investing. I think she's up a lot this year in her portfolio. You can also check out trades of like Mark Zuckerberg or Elon Musk. And so tons of cool portfolios to look into and subscribe to. And then you get those real-time trade alerts and you can also mimic them. What's also really cool about Parrot is you could trade all your stocks in one place, manage all your portfolios, all your balances. So whether you have like an E-Trade or a Robinhood or a Webull, all of that can be connected to Parrot and managed all in one place. And then you can actually trade on Parrot's interface and mimic trades as well. So you don't really need to open up any other broker platform. I mean, no hate to Schwab, but it's a little outdated. And I feel like people love that new social interface. And so that's kind of the value add that we bring to the new Gen Z or millennial user. So how it works. So on the influencer side, you onboard with Parrot, you connect your broker, all that data flows through and validates your portfolio. And then next, you can pretty much display your portfolio to the public. And once that's displayed, people can subscribe to you, and then you collect a monthly fee from them. So you can pretty much, monetize off this platform if you are an influencer. And then subscribers, on the other hand, they pay a monthly fee to their favorite influencers or creators, and then they can access those real-time trade notifications and mimic those trades. So the problem here is truly, I think, two things. Is one, many beginner investors, they just don't know where to start. I mean, if I was 18 years old and I had this platform, I would have been somewhere else in my finance journey today. I think that there's a lot of uncertainty in the markets, and people look to social media already to learn how to invest. And then on top of that, there's the danger part, right? Like you can't trust everyone on social media. And so it's really important for us to vet and curate those influencers and bring on a safe investing environment for everyone. And so this market is massive. Over 80% of Gen Z millennials get their information from social media, and it's a $104 billion market. So some of our achievements to date, we've raised over $2.5 million for a pre-seed round. We have about 6 people on our team, and we launched the product just recently in April 2024. And so we've seen some amazing growth. We have tons of influencer partnerships pending and new influencers joining every single week. We just hit 6 million in AUM, which is all those assets connected to Parrot on those brokerage accounts. And our Twitter is blowing up. We hit 30,000 followers in just a few weeks. We're at 5K downloads, mostly organic, and we've got our CAC down to $3. And so we're seeing this explosive growth. I think just a few weeks ago, we started with 1.5 million AUM, and then just this month of June, we hit 6. So we're super excited to continue that streak. And we have some amazing investors backing us. So our lead is Harlem Capital. We have Lightspeed, Hustle Fund, a favorite of mine. And then we have Techstars, Western Union, Plug and Play, and many others. Our team background is super important to why we are the team to build this. So my background's in finance. I worked in private equity at KKR before this, and also McKinsey and McKinsey's hedge fund, investing on behalf of their fund for about 4 years. And then Victoria's our CTO. And before this, she was at Coinbase and Morgan Stanley doing more product management and engineering. And our COO is Lucy, and she was at Goldman Sachs before this and the White House working under the Obama admin. So we all 3 came together. We're best friends, and we love what we're building, and we really resonate with the mission. Super excited to have you guys on board, and thank you so much for your time.
Awesome, Nikki. Thank you so much for sharing what you're building at Parrot with us. Bree, would love to hear from you first.
Yeah, of course. I mean, this is a space that we care a lot about, and I love the modern approach that you're taking. It also feels like it's a really welcome shift from the last generation of investment advice that you could find through Discord or through other places that weren't necessarily verified. And so I like the fact that you have a great model behind the scenes to really qualify these investors as well. I guess one question that I have for you is in regards to engagement and retention on the investor side. I can imagine that these individuals are very busy people, and for a lot of them, they also have their own audience and other initiatives that they're working on as well. And so how have you thought about both engaging with those investors, and how do you think about retaining them for the long term?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think naturally our platform is really good with retention because you have that social aspect. So, investors that come on our platform, they're usually coming through a funnel of an influencer that they already follow, have for many months or many years, and they have that loyalty aspect. So they're kind of tied to this individual and their strategies, and they're really invested in what that influencer is doing. So it's more, I guess, there's more retention than a typical brokerage would have. And then we're also adding in like a lot of social features, and it's a gamified version of investing. So we kind of see it in that way. It's like that layer added on top of your broker.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bree. Ryan, or any of the other judges?
Yeah, just a question on your business model. So are people paying for access to the influencers, or is there like a percentage kind of brokerage fees, or how do you structure it?
Yeah. So for the end user, they pay a monthly subscription fee to that influencer that they want to subscribe to. So it's like the Patreon model. That influencer sets their rate, right? So it's like, it can be $10 a month to $300. And we've seen all sorts of price ranges on the platform, depending on the skill level of the trader. So we take a percentage fee from the influencer revenue. And then we're also working through a B2B broker model where, we're obviously partnered with Robinhood or Webull or Schwab, right? So if we're rerouting trades to these brokers and, bringing them volumes, we can take a percentage or a cut of the profit they make on that trade as well. So there's kind of 2 big revenue models for us, back end and front end.
Got it. Love it. Thanks.
Yeah.
I'm curious on what the conversion funnel looks like for the 5K download. How many then sign up, connect their brokerage firm, conduct a transaction, and so forth?
Yeah, so obviously we're about like a month in, so we're still tracking a lot of those. But 5K downloads, so about 80% of those are are accounts created, and then active users is a percentage of that as well. So we're at around close to 2,000 monthly active users. So it's almost 50%. So we're seeing some pretty good engagement on the platform, and we're working through a lot of features that will increase that engagement. So it could be like announcements, like feed posts, leaderboards. So if you look at like the average person, they go to check their broker maybe like once a week or once a month. We want to get our engagement up and have people open up the app every single day, right? And be addicting, like have it feel like a game and just exciting and fun. So I think that's where the social element comes in, and we'll see those numbers kick up.
How many of your users are using it to sort of monitor trading activity from key political figures, and then how do you adjust for like quarter lag, or is that something that you typically like publicize around like sort of the political figure tracking?
Yeah, it's standard, like you said, that there's a lag, and so as soon as it's reported, we have that information. So there's no lag from the reporting date to when we have that, and we work with a third-party partner for this to pull in that information. So we make it clear on the platform. But what I see it as is, people who mimic politicians or CEOs, they're in it for like more long term. Like if you want to see what Nancy Pelosi has in her portfolio, right? It's like you're probably not a day trader that cares about that. You're going to follow like a Discord trader or like a TikToker who's really good at investing. But if you're a passive investor, this is kind of like our older demographic on the platform. They invest like once a month or once a quarter. They just want to see what Nancy might have in her portfolio and holds. And so that data is more valuable for like the long-term investor. And so the lag doesn't matter too much there.
Got it. How do you think about the adoption of this behavior change for the end users? Like humans are notoriously bad at changing or adopting new behaviors, and that's why personal trainers and nutritionists exist. Like, how do you think about it in the context of Parrot?
I love this question because I see that, this generation skews towards making a lot of their decisions on social media. So, whether it's like going on a vacation or going to a restaurant to eat or buying a car, buying a pair of jeans, like this generation they don't look to Google or search on that anymore. They go to TikTok and they're like, okay, what are like the top restaurants in like New York City? Or, a lot of these decisions are made on social media, including financial decisions. And so the psychology has shifted over the last decade in terms of where people are getting their information and then making those decisions and then taking it a step further and putting their money behind that. So I think that we're fitting in the right time to launch this, and there's nothing really like this. So we're super excited to get up and running and kind of cater to those people that think this way as well.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, judges. Just a quick reminder to our viewers to make sure to connect by using the buttons below to follow up. We're going to move on to our next founder. We're bringing LJ back up to the stage. We were left with a little bit of a cliffhanger, but I think we're good to go. Yeah? All right. I'll let you take it away, LJ. Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Haley. And thanks to the audience for bearing with me. Little technical difficulties. I always love when they throw an update in the software. But cool, so I'll get started. So over the last decade, algorithms have really transformed consumer experiences. So with Spotify, we have an algorithm that lets us hear new songs we love every time we press play. And with TikTok, we get our entertainment fix right as we need it, fed to us as soon as we open the app. So why is it that every time we show up to a website to shop that we're still expected to scroll through hundreds, if not thousands of products to find the product we like? I'm LJ Northington, founder and CEO of Aesthetic, and we're building the most personalized commerce experience that fashion has ever seen. Fashion is the perfect industry for us to start a personalization platform. The vast amount of fashion purchases on the internet are driven by social media content which we can use to build an algorithm for your style. Our core team is uniquely qualified to tackle this problem, as we have a deep understanding and expertise in technology, commerce, and culture. To put it bluntly, I eat, sleep, and breathe fashion. Unlike our competitors, we're not just a tech company. We have the rare ability to tie product, media, and culture together seamlessly. It's the same philosophy that's grown our Instagram page into one of the largest fashion communities on the internet. To date, we have traction and validation from all sides of the fashion ecosystem. We've partnered with over 2,000 fashion brands, and our talent agency partners represent over 100,000 influencers who will help with driving adoption. But most importantly, we have validation from our users. Earlier this month, we announced Alma, our Shazam for clothes on social media, and our community loved it. We received over 50,000 waitlist signups and over 200,000 attempted DMs in the weeks following our announcement. And yeah, you heard me right. I did say DMs. So Alma is awesome because basically what we allow you to do is look at the content on your social feed and shop the look of that content. Just DM fashion content to the aesthetic account on Instagram, and within seconds, Alma responds with a link to shop the look on our website. 80% of fashion purchases are already being driven by social media. All we're doing is closing the gap between inspiration and purchase. In fact, every month, social media discovery drives over $80 billion worth of fashion purchases. And when we launch Alma this summer, we'll begin intercepting a meaningful portion of those purchases on Instagram, TikTok, and Pinterest, allowing us to generate affiliate revenue from day one. Based on the numbers from our beta program, we're tracking to do $1.5 million in ARR with just the 50,000 users we have on our waitlist alone. Now, shopping with Alma is great. Don't get me wrong, I'm already addicted to it. I use it all the time. But my favorite part is that I can send content from any platform, and Alma uses AI to learn my style preference, or as we like to call it, my aesthetic. Aesthetics are a common thread between taste and style that permeate throughout your whole life. They're also the name we've chosen for the bespoke style algorithms we give each of our users. Now, you can use aesthetic to create magical consumer experiences. Imagine an algorithm capable of generating an outfit for any occasion, finding products you like on any website, or even decorating the interior of your home. Because aesthetics are shareable amongst our community, we allow you to equip the aesthetic of your favorite celebrity, influencer, or just cool, stylish friend, giving you full control over your algorithm and your shopping experiences. We've actually already had brands request to integrate Alma onto their websites and into their in real life retail experiences. So we've talked about helping you find, shop, and share your aesthetic, and that's all great. But as we all know, the most important part of a consumer product launch is distribution. So I ask you one thing: what would the commerce world look like if your aesthetic could make you money? We share revenue with our users when their aesthetic drives a purchase. Whether via their social content or their aesthetic algorithm, all they have to do is sync their social media accounts and we'll take care of the rest. This part of the platform has really resonated with creators who are burnt out from juggling brand deals, affiliate platforms, and just creating content for their daily business. An aesthetic gives creators the ability to passively monetize their content, which is really a powerful incentive that serves as a viral loop in our distribution. Right now, we're raising $250,000, which we've already had $100,000 in hard commitments. We've also received non-dilutive funding from Google. So far, the round includes a former CEO of Guess Jeans, a top 50 most followed TikToker, some professional athletes, and Virgil Abloh's former head of brand at Off-White. So if you're interested in getting involved and you want to hear more, you can find me at lj@myaesthetic.ai. Thank you.
Thanks, LJ. Awesome. So glad we got to hear from you. If anyone wants to connect with LJ, don't forget to use and connect through the buttons below. We're going to have Vivek kick us off with the Q&A.
Yeah, great pitch. I'm very interested in better understanding Ryan's aesthetic and where he got that white hoodie / bathrobe.
So I was going to say, you need the Shazam.
Yeah. This might be a bit of a prickly question. How do you know this is not a solution in search of a problem?
Yeah. I mean, really what we're looking at doing is taking a cut into what's already happening in the world. So right now there's a ton of purchases being driven by social media and by the content that's involved or that's coming from social media. So really what we're allowing people to do is just speed up the processes and make them more efficient that they're already doing. People are already screenshotting content and saving it on their phone to then go and find the product later. We just close that gap. And then when it comes to finding products and actually starting to get into the more personalization side of things, we're building features that really allow you to personalize any website to yourself. So maybe imagine connecting your aesthetic to an Essence website or any fashion website you go to. And instead of having to look through 300,000 products for yourself, we generate a custom web page that pulls every product for you that matches your style. So it's really almost a concierge for the internet. And that's where we're looking to solve for the problem there.
Got it. Thanks.
Steve.
Yeah, I'm a fan, conceptually as an avid reverse Google search person with things that I see. And I think that's kind of been the norm for a while. I think there's a ton of questions, so it's tough to just ask like one or two, but I'd be interested in how really breaking down how you plan to, generate affiliate revenues and affiliate partnerships. And yeah, I mean, that would be great to know first off.
Yeah, so our CTO has a really big background in affiliate. He was actually one of the largest affiliates for auto insurance in the US and built that whole platform. So he's managing a lot of that side. But basically our strategy there is we already have 2,000 brand affiliate deals that give us about 5 million products in our catalog right now that are fully monetized. And then we're growing that catalog by building Shopify and BigCommerce integrations that enable any brand to just import their products into our ecosystem passively. So we'll build on that in the future with more analytics and data insights for brands to kind of make it a bit stickier. But just to start and getting brands into the ecosystem, it's a pretty simple onboarding process.
Ryan, did you have a question?
Yeah, I got a couple quick observations. So I forget you have Aesthetic, and then there's another A brand.
Alma, yeah.
Alma. Yeah, I think at some point you're better off just picking a brand, and it sounds like Aesthetics the business. I think it makes a lot of sense. So just an observation there. I like the idea on you're kind of like building your fashion DNA out of this, and like that you can go transplant it places. That's really cool. And I think also if you can create structured data around sizing, then why do I have to go to a website and look at all of the frickin' sizes and find out that all the larges are all sold out? Just show me what is existing. So that's a cool integration. I could see I sat on the board of Aritzia. Other businesses would love to see that. And if you can create a standard there, that's really powerful. And I guess I did have a question. I like it. I think it's really interesting. We'll connect, and I want to learn more. But the question I have around platform risk. I built a big company on top of other people's platform, Twitter, Meta and others. How do you think about, is this a feature of Meta? And how do you think about, your long-term viability given that?
Yeah, definitely. So that's something that we looked at up front, as we started to ideate the process. And what we saw, and in speaking with some people that actually built out the Instagram commerce integration as well. So with platforms like Meta, TikTok, Pinterest, they've almost grown too big to service the niche needs of their communities. So when you look at a platform like Meta, they launched Instagram Shop in 2021, and by all means, it killed it. It made $400 million in the first year. But Meta also makes $42 billion a year on ads. And it started to eat into their ad spaces on their timelines. And so they actually shuttered Instagram commerce for consumers and focused more so on driving value to their advertisers, which is less of a consumer-focused product. So we plan on them staying in that lane. And even if they do, we really see these integrations with platforms as a wedge. We are also building our own iOS app that'll serve as a hub for the ecosystem, where you'll also be able to view kind of a social commerce feed that's personalized to you. So there's, not necessarily a long-term reliance on the platforms. It's more of a nice wedge into the ecosystem that fits into the shopper's existing habits.
Okay.
Thanks, Ryan. Bree.
Cool. Well, I'm so excited. I think this pitch is amazing. I'm also very much guilty of doing a lot of shopping myself, so I would love to try it out. One question, so you've talked a lot about brands, which my interpretation is likely e-commerce companies. How do you view your relationship with more culture creating platforms like Depop and Grailed, and where do you think this will land with the resellers market?
Yeah, so we actually already are working with some resellers, and we're going kind of small first. So I mentioned we have the Shopify integration. There's a ton of vintage resellers and thrift resellers that are onboarding onto our platform to basically import their products into our catalog so we can recommend them. And that's one of the big things is our recommendations are only as good as our catalog, right? So we want to be able to recommend for everything and every taste. I think there's definitely a possibility of partnership with those larger resale platforms where we can, link directly to a Depop page or a Grailed page, because exactly like I'm sure you're thinking, we're not going to have everything that's brand new. Sometimes there's a vintage piece from Nike that might not be on shelves today. So definitely looking to round that out through partnerships with the vintage and resale companies.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks, Bree. Thanks, all. Thank you, LJ. Great work. We're going to move on to Akshay from Beem. I've never gotten to meet Akshay before, but I'm so impressed by the work he's doing at Beem to turn a problem he's experienced growing up into a venture scale solution to serve 80% of the world's working population to make life more affordable for everyone. If that sounds remotely interesting or good, he's going to blow you away. Akshay, I'll let you take it away.
Thanks, Haley. Hi, all. My name is Akshay. I'm the founder and CEO of Beem. Beem makes AI that makes life affordable for all. We help people avoid cash flow issues with early access to any deposits. Could be government benefits, your side hustle, alimony checks, doesn't matter. We help reduce the cost of essential services like primary care by 90%. And we make it available to anyone, irrespective of their immigration status, their FICO score, or their income type. I'm doing this because I grew up poor. My parents came from extreme poverty. And so my team and I are doing it for billions of families like my own. 80% of Americans find life unaffordable today. Their primary challenge is they don't earn income in a standard way anymore. People have multiple jobs, they're doing side gigs, they're doing weekend jobs, and they're relying on government benefits and other support systems. And so these funds come at disparate times, and they're never of the same amount, and it becomes extremely challenging. So they don't have money when they really need it. To overcome this, they need about $500 a year, or about $50 10 times a year. And this is further exacerbated by rent, which is now up by 23%, groceries, which are now up by 12%, gas up by 58%, and insurance up by 33%. In addition to this, things that you need every month just to survive are costing an unreachable $1,400 per month in the US or more. Beem changes this by using AI. We have created a composite consumer index that studies you in real time and uses the technology to bridge your cash flow problems and then reduce cost of essential services by 90%, delivering them to you affordably, precisely when you need it. We do this with our app, which has one fee, and an entire family could use it, and you can use it for all your needs, everything from earning a little extra to supporting your family, your pets, and all of your needs. And it works for anyone, like I mentioned before, whether you're an undocumented worker, you're an immigrant, you're an immigrant who got his ITIN and still don't have his SSN, you're a retired individual, you name it. It's inclusive, inexpensive system that works for everyone, has 8 simple steps, and you can finish it in under 5 minutes and start accessing all of these benefits. It's built by a killer team of 70 seasoned fintech operators. A little about myself. Prior to this, I was PayPal's leading inventor, over 75 consumer patent publications covering AI, fraud, risk, and consumer behavior. And we are supported by an amazing cast of operators as well as superstar fintech angels. Our metrics show that our model is sustainable. We are profitable as a seed stage startup. Trailing 12-month revenue is $10 million. Our revenue has been growing 60% year over year since launching in fall of 2021. Our cost of customer acquisition is almost negligible. Most of our customers we acquire are done organically. Our lifetime value is about $105, and our customers love us. We have 2.5 million people on the platform, growing 100% year over year, with a monthly churn that less than 1%. Other models are neither comprehensive, they're unprofitable and unsustainable. 60% of our users are women. They love us. In fact, we just crossed an amazing milestone of protecting over 1 million working single moms here in the United States. Like I mentioned, we've been growing organically, and we are getting closer to that 3 million mark while sustaining industry low churns. We have a wait list of over 1 million people now. And we want to unlock that wait list, for which we have raised $100 million in debt that will allow us to do early access to verified deposits for these individuals. And for that, we are raising a $2 million safe round, and to get to grow 20% month on month. There's $275,000 remaining in that round. And my question is, are you in? Thank you.
Wow, actually, I want to connect after this. So I'm going to click the button below. I hope others can click the button below, and that I don't miss out. We'll bring our judges to the stage, and we'll have Steve kick us off to lead some Q&A with Akshay.
Wow, yeah, such an impact. I guess when you're thinking of what's the kind of converting decision for a user, like why are they so many services offered, right? Like why are they signing up? Like which of them is sort of the deciding factor here? Is it healthcare? Have you kind of run any kind of research on that?
So most people come to us for the early access to verified deposits, because it is not just your paycheck. It could be anything. We have people who 100%, like Jenny, one of our customers from Iowa. She's a widow of a war veteran. Her only income sources are VA benefits, childcare, and a tiny side hustle on Etsy. She makes $30,000 a year, spends only $27,000 out of it. She has 3 daughters. Her youngest daughter had toothache. She needed money for copay, and nobody qualified her because she has non-standard income arrangements. We qualified her in under 5 minutes. She's been our customer for 22 months now. And she was able to repay us back. We gave her $70. She was able to repay us back within 10 days, which is typically the case for most of our users. So this early access to verified benefits drives people, and they stay back for all the other benefits that we are delivering, everything from job loss protection to just $9 for tax filing, irrespective of income type, or reducing your primary care costs significantly, giving you dental, vision, primary care for $50 per month for the entire family, and so on.
Thanks, Steve. Who wants to go next?
I'm happy to jump in. Super interesting. If I were investing on the consumer side, this is the type of company that I would want to invest in. I think it's really awesome from a societal impact point of view. I'm curious how much of the Grameen Bank microfinance model is kind of influenced, especially with respect to microtransactions.
To some extent, Grameen significantly relies on social networks. So they have to go identify those on the ground social networks, like a group of working women who work together and then rely on that to ensure the risk is mitigated. We are 100% doing this on software, and our software is able to study human behavior and then adjust itself in real time. That's how we're doing. That's the difference. Yes, there's a huge influence from that. In fact, it's influenced from a story that my dad used to tell me when I was a kid. We lived in Mumbai. In Mumbai, there was Victoria Terminus, and there was this one guy. People from outside of Mumbai would come into Mumbai every day to work, and he would give them 99 rupees at the beginning of the day. And when they go back, there was the only one way they could go back and take the train is through there, and they would give him back 100 rupees. And he has no credit score, credit history, but just that human behavior he was able to do, and he was able to uplift millions of people. That stuck with me throughout my life. And after spending time at PayPal and learning how things work, I'm just bringing that to life in my own way.
Got it. Quick follow-up question. In the absence of having that social component, I'm curious what your downside protection looks like in the event of increasing charge-offs and increasing transaction loss.
There is downside, obviously. We launched during the pandemic, and since then, our charge-off, we have dispersed $85 million using our own balance sheet without borrowing anything, and our charge-off on that is under 2%. And so the proof is in the pudding. Yes, there is downside, but the system is designed to mitigate for that downside and auto-adjust itself, and that's why we are able to maintain these kinds of metrics.
Do you have any underlying protection in the event of increasing charge-offs or any kind of increasing risk?
So if people lose job, we have job loss protection. It's insured behind the scenes. And then we obviously are linked to their bank account and other things. So the only way charge-off goes up, okay, the other way to say it is the downside protection is if it starts seeing things going south, it adjusts itself and it changes how it is going to give the next set of funds to who it gives and how much it will give. That is the real downside protection, in addition to the historical performance and the AI learning very quickly.
Got it. Thank you.
Thanks, Vivek. Bree, did you have a question?
Yeah, sure do. Overall, I mean, this is an amazing mission and definitely something that's work-life aligned. We think about these sort of how do you help the average person all the time, and I loved your approach from undocumented and first generation immigrants as well. I think that's a really important segment of the market. A question for you. So just looking at all the different ways and different types of people that are using the product, how do you think about acquisition moving forward? Are you going to hone in on a specific ICP from a paid marketing perspective, or do you want to continue to go fairly broad?
So far, most of our customers we have acquired organically. We've done this by in the early days we were very resource constrained, so we created this organization called Beem Studio. We hired real world journalists, and we started creating a press room and creating content that is relevant to this space. And when GPT came around, we started using it for increasing of throughput. So we push out about 400, 500 pieces of content every week, and we show up in 5 million searches every day. That massive top of the funnel sends us at least 5,000 to 6,000 net new people every single day. So that's scaled really well for us. We'll continue to double down on that. And we may put in some efforts on brand equity so that people are familiar and they can connect the dots. So those are two areas we would do. We were doing paid marketing, and now we have completely eliminated it because organic is working very well for us at scale.
Cool. Thank you.
Brian.
Love it. Love the mission, and I always love a personal story, that goes along with it. So congratulations, you built a really interesting business. I'm going to take one from the audience, and Raymond is asking, what's the valuation?
Right now, the safe round we are raising is at a 70 million cap. It's a YC post money safe, 70 million cap, 20% discount.
Okay. Do you have any board structure in place?
Yes, we do. We do have a board in place, and we also have board observers in place. We have institutional investors, and they form it.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, I'm sure there'll be a lot of interest in this. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Akshay. We are going to close it out with Pierson from Jellypod. We'll get him up to the stage. When I heard what he was building, or about what he was building earlier this month, I just was so excited to learn more. I have a feeling that after this pitch, though, I'm going to have to try to move our call up if I want any allocation this round. So, Pierson, I will let you take it away. Have fun.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Haley. Hi, I'm Pierson. I'm the CEO and founder of Jellypod. And Jellypod is a way to help people solve email overload by transforming all of the most important topics across all of your newsletters into a personalized daily podcast. So newsletters are content gold mines. I don't know about yourself, but I subscribe to probably 20 different newsletters across all these different niche domains on things that I'm personally interested in. However, I honestly don't get around to reading them. Just like 74% of the United States, we subscribe to multiple newsletters and we receive 87 emails every day. And honestly, it's impossible to read all that content every day. And so this is why I built Jellypod. Jellypod is a place where you can go to every morning and get the most important topics across every newsletter subscription in a 10 to 15 minute long daily podcast. I used to be working for Amazon Alexa, and every morning I would get out of my apartment in Seattle, I would pop in my headphones, listen to some podcast that was related to my interests, not personalized to me. And one morning I was walking down the street and I got an email from my friend who runs a green energy newsletter called Keep Cool. I've always been really interested in renewable energy. And I was thinking to myself, man, this would be an amazing time right now to be able to read this newsletter. And I just don't want to get out of the moment. I don't want to be looking down at my phone, reading this content while there's like the whole world moving around me, there's cars, and I want to stay in the moment. And I had this light bulb moment to where, what if I could take all the content that's already existing in my email inbox, combine it together, remove all the fluff, remove the ads, and create a personalized daily podcast just for me. And so that's what Jellypod does. Jellypod allows you to subscribe to any email newsletter with a unique email address. And then we use AI agents to classify and transform this content into a personalized podcast that grows with you, that understands what you know, and wants to help you improve in your personal learning or more. And so we've seen over the last 20 to 50 years over the last 100 years, how every 20 to 50 years, how people consume content changes. We went from newspapers to radio to cable television, and then the internet came along and people consume content through social media platforms like TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. But with generative AI, we're able to today now create content on demand where the content creation itself is personalized to you and your unique interests, rather than the distribution of that content itself. And today we're starting with transforming the content that's already in your inbox. And so here's a little demo of the app. It's on the iOS App Store. And you can see how we have all these personalized podcasts at the top. You have all of your newsletter subscriptions right below: Morning Brew, The Rundown, Uncharted Territories, whatever. And you get a personalized podcast available for you in the app with all the chapters, everything that it talks about. And we use your interest to personalize and focus these podcasts to what you actually care about. If you're interested in hearing the audio, go download the app on the App Store. And so today we have 643 monthly active users out of the 2,000 total downloads. We've created over 30,000 podcast episodes. We have a 4.9 App Store rating on the iOS App Store and 76 paying Jellypod Plus customers. I believe really heavily in personalized media. I love to be continuously learning about the world around me and niche domains. And I built Jellypod because I think people want to stay up to date with all this stuff. They want to be a better engineer. They want to be a better venture capitalist. They want to have accurate news from sources they trust. There's a problem today with this black box media algorithm that, you get things on your TikTok feed, on your Instagram feed, that you don't know really who's behind that content and what their biases are. Newsletters are this way where you've actively subscribed and opted in to certain people, and you trust what they're saying. And if you didn't, you wouldn't have subscribed. And so we believe that we can get to 100 million users over the next 8 years through increased personalization, multimedia formats, and conversational interfaces. We want to be a place where you can discover new content, if it's not something you've already subscribed to. We want to provide dynamic and interactive learning with essentially like tracks on becoming a better engineer, better venture capitalist, a better project manager. And we believe that there's other formats that may resonate more with you in wherever you are, whether that's a podcast format, whether that's short form video, longer form video, and also enabling you to stay up to date with other people's podcasts. So multiplayer style podcasts where I could follow people such as the President of the United States and what they're listening to, or just our friends. So we can create podcasts that match and blend our interests together. And so we're uniquely counterpositioned against other creator-focused incumbents such as Substack, where they're really focused on that creator economy, where they want to make sure that the creator itself has control over the audience and what they're creating, where we're really focused on the consumer. We want to give the consumer the power to consume any content that's interesting to them in the format that's most convenient to them at the time. And so myself and my co-founder, I'm a technical engineer. I was working at Amazon Alexa for multiple years, working on the voice stuff there. And Jason is a former founder of an employee resource group company called Indie that's used by Atlassian and HashiCorp. And so we're raising $500,000 to help us build the future of personalized interactive learning. And yeah.
Awesome job, Pierson. Thanks for taking us through what you're building at Jellypod. Congrats on all the progress. Excited about the long-term vision. We'll get our judges up to the stage. Excited to have Ryan kick us off with Q&A, given his media background. I know he'll have some great questions for you. Ryan, take it away.
Great. Ryan, you're on mute.
Classic. I love the problem. I face this every day. I've got an inbox of like 30 newsletters and I kind of skim them. And on, Apple release days, every single subject is about Apple. It's all the same. And I could get that like consolidated. So I think it's interesting observation. I think if you could like auth into my inbox and like automatically do this for me. I don't want to like, you can figure out what are newsletters and then pull the ones and then like consolidate, do all this magic for me. That's great. And then if you can provide the meta email also. So I want the podcast, but also I want the email, because sometimes I'd rather just read the meta email of like the key things I should be looking at. And then, so those are just observations. And then question for you is like, how are you going to monetize?
Yeah, absolutely. So today, like, we're monetizing via consumer subscription, where the premium product allows you to get longer podcasts, allows you to get just more focused into your interests. So there's things like longer podcasts you can integrate into your existing podcast player as well. So we have RSS feeds where you can get your podcast directly in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or whatever. And it's just a premium consumer subscription today.
Okay. I'm sure you thought about advertising. It's nice to reduce that friction, because like if you're going mass, you're not going to get there with subscription, I think. So I think the ads are probably going to help you out a lot there.
Absolutely. And it's pretty interesting too, where we have really fine-grained interests. Like, we know what people are subscribing to. And so we think the ads definitely are.
Yeah, you should be able to know exactly, if you especially get it in my inbox, you're going to be able to like really know a lot about me and
Totally.
and you know, all the newsletters I get, which are also, by the way, like horribly filtered by Google. Like, you know, I'm always trying to retrain it to put it in the newsletter inbox. It never works perfectly. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity to optimize there.
Right.
Thanks, Ryan. Vivek.
Yeah. This, I obsess about behavior change per my prior questions on the topic. But once a person adopts the appropriate behavior change, this could be part of their daily ritual, like working out in the morning, meditating, kind of spending 15 minutes kind of listening to this. I'm the type of person, though, that is a visual type of learner, where I'll see the newsletter and I'll scan it and I'll consume the information faster than even like listening it to on like 2x speed or whatnot. And so is it fair to say that you're only catering to people who have an auditory learning style versus a visual learning style?
I think today, yes, definitely. I think what we're catering towards are those people that in the morning, where they're getting ready for, you know, their day, they're in their commute going to the office, and they want to kind of use that time efficiently to stay up to date with everything that they care about. So yes, today is definitely an audio style. That doesn't necessarily limit that, like what Ryan was saying, just about having that whole briefing in your inbox as well, or provide text summaries in the app as well, like cleaner interface to like digest those newsletters into those topics. We know that content is there, and we just haven't experimented with text-based content.
Got it. And last question, and how do you view read it later apps? I'm an investor in Readwise Reader. There's Pocket. And then you also have these AI summarization apps for email. My last company is an email company. Superhuman's doing a lot of stuff with content summarization. And so how do you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the read it later apps is kind of the same problem that inboxes have, where you just keep adding everything into there. You never actually get around to it. So like, I don't necessarily see that as significantly like a significant competitor to what we're doing, because more of the transformation aspect. When it comes to summarization apps, I think where Jellypod really shines is the ability to accurately detect and classify topics across all those domains. So what's really interesting is that you could have 40 newsletters that come in today. We're able to really accurately understand everything's talked about, making sure that you don't get, you know, your Apple launch news in multiple places, and then delivering that content in a format that is cohesive and almost feels as if it is a podcast. So making sure that the ordering of everything is really like a podcast host would distill it down. So it's like almost having an Anderson Cooper in your podcast, or in your pocket, Joe Rogan there, that understands you, what you're interested in. And it's not just a basic summary, it's focused for you.
Great questions. Bree, did you have any questions?
I do. Just as a consumer of a lot of newsletters and music and all sorts of media, one thing that keeps coming to mind is, you know, I think summarizations are helpful, and I think that this is a great way to really consume more. But I think what makes a product really delightful is if there's a bit of discoverability. Like, I love discovering a new song through a playlist on Spotify. I love discovering a new newsletter just based on some sort of, you know, cross promotion that writers will do on Substack. And so how do you think about search and discoverability?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's one of the key pillars that we would look to build out, because we have your interests. We know what you're subscribed to. We know like what chapters you're actually listening to, if those you skip through. And so where we like to move towards is providing, a new channel for you to discover other newsletters, other writers, creators that are in that same space. Like for me, like I spend my time digging down rabbit holes in YouTube and newsletters, and to be able to go onto a feed where maybe it's just like a summary of a author's entire newsletter portfolio. That's like, hey, we know that you subscribe to these 3 newsletters. Here's another great newsletter that may match your interests. And so you can easily one click add that into your podcast, and then get that right there and help you discover new people and new things that you're interested in.
Thanks, Bree. Steve?
How do you deal with like the news companies and newsletters that don't want like clicks taken away, from their own pages?
Yes, definitely is an interesting question. So like the model that we're emulating is definitely the Blinkist model, where what we're doing is, we're not integrating into your inbox today, but we're providing you an email address to subscribe. And so it really is kind of this new transformative work where it's not just taking their things and reading it to you in audio. So we're creating this new sort of original piece of media that it helps you understand all these things that are going on in the world. So it's really the Blinkist model here that we're trying to emulate. We haven't had any problems where we see that actually a lot of newsletters like to use Jellypod because open rates are actually decreasing significantly. And this is just purely because there's so many newsletters, so many things out there that you're not getting to, that a lot of our users are using Jellypod as a 10 to 15 minute long summary, but then go and actually read that whole thing if something's in their summary, in their audio summary that piques their interest. So it's actually increasing oftentimes the open rates of the underlying newsletters because we're providing an overview.
Thank you, Pierson. Thank you, judges. Reminder to like and connect with Pierson, Akshay, with Nikki, LJ as well. Get those in before we wrap up here. It's time to hear from the judges. Judges, any themes or favorite pitches from the day?
I mean, it's hard to compare against a company like Beem that has like so much traction, so much revenue. Like to me personally, again, that's the standout. And the like just the soul of the mission, the soul of the company. Like that's just it's awesome.
I'd have to agree. I think it's been fun too, especially in like the consumer category where, there's a couple of products here that I would definitely love to demo, and then would be a basis of my diligence and follow up. Like both aesthetic is something is like use case I would love to kind of see how well it works, and then Jellypod. I don't know. I mean, I think Vivek, you make a good point on like behavioral changes and how important that is. I also don't know like how valuable it would be to increasing like consumption, but it's definitely something to test out and try.
Thanks, Steve. And we're going to bring actually Matt up shortly to share a bit more as well. Matt, we didn't get to interview you at the beginning. Would you share a quick intro on yourself and would love to hear your reflections as well?
Yeah, I'm just blown away by the pitches and the judges and the questions. This was amazing. I'm the CEO here at Kernal. If anyone wants to get in touch with us, you want to become a panelist, you want to pitch, my inbox is always open. I love talking to founders. I probably went through 70 one-on-ones to get to these 4 pitches, and I'm happy I did. It's been really, really fun getting back into it and just watching people build. LJ and I have been talking for close to a year, and then getting to give him this opportunity and see him go viral. I remember when he showed me that Instagram feature that he was going to build, I was like, that's going to go viral. And then I saw it go viral on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh man, this guy's not going to talk to me. And then sure enough, he actually followed up with me. He was like, dude, you're the only guy that said this was going to go viral. So seeing those sorts of stories come true is something I'm super passionate about. Again, thank you so much to the judges and to all the pitches and to everyone who attended. We're actually going to be raising a little round here too. So I'm giving a little quick plug for Kernal. Get in touch if you're interested. And Haley, did you ever work in radio? Because this is right up your alley.
Thanks so much, Matt. Appreciate the opportunity. So great to be here with everyone. And I think we're getting ready to have the audience vote on the best pitch, right? Perhaps.
I think so.
Okay.
I think we're going to announce everything in our newsletter. So we'd love to have everyone sign up for the newsletter to see who won. I think we have one giveaway we'd like to do. Have we picked our winner? Yes, we have. So the winning comment that's going to get the No Story Lost prize is from Braden Barwich. The comment was talking about Akshay's story. And I don't know if anybody actually caught this, but Akshay worked as an Uber driver for a year to understand his customer, to understand what the finances would be like. I think it was hidden underneath these 75 plus publications in AI and patents at PayPal, but I think it's such a crazy mission for him to solve, and then actually dive into the customer like that. And for anybody listening, that level of dedication is something that I would invest in. If you're going to go spend a year understanding the customer, I think you're going to be able to find product market fit. So congratulations to Braden, and we'll get in touch with you to get you that prize.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think we actually are going to announce the best pitch. Now it sounds like the winner of the best pitch was Beem. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much. And I think that's all we have for today. So thanks to all of our judges. Thanks for everyone who came out and supported our startups. Keep an eye out for the recording if you missed any of the pitches while you were away from the laptop. And of course, stay in touch through the newsletter. If you'd like to founder or investor from today, reach out, get in touch. Would love to connect. Hope to keep in touch with you as well. Feel free to reach out on LinkedIn. And if you want to get involved in the next pitch day on Kernal, then just click the featured link on screen now to RSVP. We hope to see you there. Thanks all.
Every third Thursday. We'll see you guys at the next one.
Thanks, everyone.